Greetings, Theo. Greetings, Hal.
Yes. What's going on, people? We apologize for the late start. We were having some technical difficulties, but we are here.
We're here. We in the building, baby.
I'm one of your hosts for this evening, Dr. Theo. We got my main man all the way in chat, Hollis Edwards.
Y'all know what it is.
It was cool. We got a chance to kick it in person a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And so we got a great show lined up. Hopefully we got some people tuning in, some people who've tuned in the past, but we may have some new people tuning in. So before we get too deep into the show, Hollis, please remind the people who we are. That's right. We call next.
We call next. Hey, I think along with the theme of technical difficulties, my bad. I think I might have been muted. I don't know if y'all heard me when I said we call next. We in the building. So if y'all didn't hear it, my mouth was moving, but it was on mute.
It's all good. We still working out the kinks. It's all good. So Hollis, let's catch up with the people. It seems like it's been forever, even though it's been just a few weeks. The last show we had, we were just giving people flowers.
Right.
We got a great show tonight. One of the things that Hollis loves to do is just set the stage, let people know what's going on for this evening. So Hollis, give us a rundown of what the people can expect. And while he's doing that, make sure if you're out there, if you're watching, that's great. But that's only one set of eyes. We need more sets of eyes. So if you're on our page, if you look below, you're going to see that video. Share this on your wall or share it with individuals. Like it, love the post, and share it. Hollis, take it away.
Yeah, no question. Shout out. We already saw Shantina, Wesley, and Vaughn holding us down, so we appreciate y'all. You know, y'all, this show is really not about the host. You often hear me say that on our Facebook post. This show is really about you all, and it's about our guests. And so, but with this show, we're going to ask you to participate. We're going to ask you to be interactive, right? So the way we're going to break it down is Theo and I are going to do something we call Around the World. So for those of you that know us, y'all know that we're basketball heads. And so a lot of our themes will be basketball terminology. So back in the day, Around the World was when you were competing with someone and you were going to different spots. Well, the beginning of our show will be us going to different spots, but really different thoughts, just different things that Theo and I that have on our mind. We'll do that for roughly, 5 or 10 minutes or so. Then we're going to have the special portion of our show. We're going to bring in our guest. And most of our shows, we're going to feature a wonderful guest. And we're going to give them flowers. We are big on showing love to people. And that's what this show is all about, to spotlight the greatness of others. So don't act like y'all was acting today in church where y'all was just watching the preacher preach and y'all thinking about what y'all was going to eat at KFC or at the buffet and you wasn't participating. We want you to participate with us because this is our show. It ain't just me and Theo. Y'all feel me out there? So make sure y'all participate with us. And then after that, we're going to have a little bit of an intro for the special guest. We're then going to go through and allow them to share their story. So in this case, it'll be our brother David Greer. And he'll go through his story. He has an amazing background, and we'll get all into the nitty gritty of all of that. Right after that, then we're going to check the chat. And if you have anything you want to say, we'll be calling out your comments, anything regarding the show, anything regarding our guest. And then after that, we're really going to begin to wrap up. And we're going to talk about our next show and our next guest. But throughout it all, if you have comments, please be on the chat. Or if you really want that smoke, you could just ask to get on camera, and we might take you up on it. So depends on what we got going on. So that's basically how our show gonna go. We're gonna try to run a tight ship. We'll hopefully be done by the top of the hour. So Theo, I miss anything?
Oh no, you did a great job. And so, speaking at Around the World, this is where we just going to go off the top of the head, what's ever on our heart, what's going on in the NBA world, the sports world, the political realm, community. I know I told you we shouldn't talk about this. It's going to open up a can of worms, but
I'm still hurting. I didn't want to get on to do the podcast after that.
We both Lakers fans and LeBron fans, so it's been a rough one, down 3-1.
Yeah.
But the show must go on. I know for me, what I want to share was, and I alluded to this, and y'all saw the intro video when we first promoted the fact that we're going to have David Greer on, and we had that photo. So it was a blessing. I was actually in Atlanta a couple of weeks ago for a conference through my job. And as soon as I knew that they were sending me there, I was like, I'm going to definitely try to hook up with Hollis, definitely try to hook up with Greer. So that was just a blessing to be able to kick it, for whatever brief amount of time we got a chance to kick it, to catch up, see each other in person. But it also shows we call next, we go on location, and so we try to chop
we versatile, y'all. We versatile.
Exactly. And so for me, when I think about going around the world, we went around and just had the opportunity to see each other. This first time, Hollis and I, we talk all the time, but it's been a few years since we've seen each other in person. Probably a couple years ago. And then David had been, we had a chance meeting in the airport in December. My wife and I were heading to New York, and he and his wife were heading to Michigan City via Atlanta. And so that was great. So Hollis, that's my check-in. I'm just going to put some new comments up. Oh yeah, because somebody's laughing at our pain, I guess, in terms of.
Yeah, that's pretty cruel. as Lakers fans, but speaking of Lakers, when I think about around the world, it's still through media law. My thing is, I had an opportunity and a blessing to go to my first Lakers game, and I actually, my son and I flew down to LA. Y'all probably saw a ton of pictures. Y'all could probably hear me if y'all Facebook friends with me. I'm yelling, "We in the building," like I tend to do. And so, but it was a great experience. I got to spend some time with my youngest son, which is always great for me. And then we got a chance to do a bunch of tourist stuff and, see a lot of the famous landmarks, Observatory, Beverly Hills, things that many of y'all probably have done plenty of times. I've been to LA before, but I've never done it like not work related. So I shot down there. I was expecting big things with this playoff run. So I wanted to be there for Luka's first playoff game in a Lakers jersey, one of Bron's last years or last playoff runs. And so, but I still, even though the Lakers really stunk it up that game, we still had a wonderful time. And so that was just a blessing. Romy Rome, what's good, baby? That was just a blessing. That was just a blessing to be able to do that. And I don't want to be, before we move on this around the world, Rome know about around the world. I probably done beat Jerome, or he beat me at around the world. Jerome had that little jumper, so he might have beat me at around the world. But before we close out this segment of around the world, brother, with you being not only a doctor but also a pastor, Resurrection Sunday just passed us. Obviously, it's a very important, monumental, to use the term, holiday, landmark, whatever we want to call it, important day for many of us that are believers. How did you all, your church, how did you bring in Resurrection Sunday?
Yeah, for me, it's always a great time. We had a Good Friday service where I really challenged the congregation to put themselves in Jesus' shoes in terms of just the anxiety and the mental health challenges he must have been facing, seeing so many people who he loved abandon him, forsake him.
Yeah.
Seeing the people who he was sent to save, challenged to see him crucified.
Yeah.
And then we capped it off on Resurrection Sunday. I preached out of 1 Corinthians 15 when Paul was saying that if he is truly risen, what does that mean for us? And I like to preach messages that are very practical. Yeah. So it's great that we say he is risen, but our lives should reflect that. And so that was the challenge I gave everyone on Sunday.
That's dope, brother. That's dope.
Your boy Jason got at you. If you let Rome beat you, you might need to talk about your Red Devil status.
I might have to hand in my card, Jason. I might have to hand in my Red Devil card. So, hey, all love, all fun. Rome did have a little heater though, but all fun, y'all. All love. Theo, that's just an awesome reminder, and as far as just living that life. So appreciate you sharing that, brother.
So Hollis, what I would say, we got off to a little late, and so as soon as we wrap up this segment, we're going to transition to getting our guest on.
Yeah, let's do that right now. Let's do this right now.
And so we're going to bring on our guest, and then once we bring him on, Hollis is going to do it big for him. So without further ado,
we're gonna bring him on. Bring on brother David Greer. Bring on brother David Greer.
Good evening, brothers. Good evening.
What's up, brother?
Man, I'm blessed and excited for this evening, y'all. I've been looking forward to it. So thank you for having me.
No,
yes,
me too. So we're gonna give him an official intro in a second. But I want to say this, that it was a blessing to, like Theo mentioned, getting a chance to connect all three of us in Atlanta. I haven't seen brother David since, he still had a tail, if I remember. like back, you know what I'm saying? Like high school. Like last time I seen this brother. But here's the great thing, y'all. So as I've been watching and getting, obviously I've been knowing him, but really kind of watching his life on social media and on Facebook, it's just been very remarkable. And I was just very pleased and excited that he accepted our invite to be our first guest in our reimagined, if you will, our re-engineered show, if you will. So, David, you know, so thank you. I didn't have that kind of hair, so I couldn't grow one. So I was probably hating. So it was nice. But so thank you in advance. Thank you for joining the show, brother. And I want to start off by giving you your flowers, brother. Hey, this is a friend of mine, Sheila. Thank you for joining the show. I am going to give him an intro. If any of y'all have seen Club Shay Shay, you know, me and Theo, we're fans of that show, but we also have our own originality and our own style. So without any further ado, and I'm gonna I know everybody think that I'm super young, but I'm gonna put these on real quick. So
hey, whenever I gotta read something, that's the first thing that come out of my pocket.
so this brother, so we got brother David Greer here. So I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of background on this brother. So former resident, of course, of the Michigan City.
Yes, sir.
Moved to LA back in the 90s. Now currently a resident of ATL, but he goes back and forth. This brother is amazingly talented. He has accolades in not just TV, not just film, and also commercials. He has worked even as a hype man and a dancer at one point in time in his career. He's also a real estate investor, not just in Atlanta, but also MC. This brother is bi-coastal, y'all. He does it in a lot of areas. The great thing is his parents encouraged him to pursue his entertainment talents and desires and passions, as well as his entrepreneur talents and passions. This brother David, he is a father. He is a husband. Theo, you impressed with that? Like, that's a lot right there, ain't it?
I mean, if we stop right there, I mean that's a great guess for another show.
That's a lot. But
on we call next, we next level. So I need you to continue to cook. I need you to cook a little bit longer. Cook a little bit
longer. Keep cooking. Keep cooking. We keep cooking. Okay. But Theo, there is more with this brother.
All right.
This brother here is a believer in Christ.
100.
This brother here is very passionate about God being his king and Lord over his life. So he's not just a church goer. He's not just showing up at Fairhaven and getting candy. He real about that. Fairhaven is the inside joke for us Michigan City folks. And no offense though, because they helped a lot of us. And
right.
he focuses on his beliefs, his reliance on his faith in Christ, and he literally has said it's shaped his life and brought him to where he is today. So this brother gives God all the glory. But wait, there's even more. This brother he's known to be a man's man. He's someone that men and other people look up to. And he wants that pressure. He wants that weight. He wants to be that person that someone and that everyone can be proud of. Again, we bring him to the stage, our brother from Michigan City, brother, husband, father, son, and all those things I just mentioned.
Yes,
David.
yes.
Appreciate
Man, Hollis.
Yes.
That's a heck of an intro, brother. I'm just believing to live up to it all and continue to live up to it all. Let me say that. But no, man, I appreciate it. You and Theo both. I'm humbled and I'm happy to be here. And thank you for giving me, those flowers, brothers. I truly appreciate it. It's sometimes it's hard for me to receive compliments and things, just to hear those flattering words. Even at my job, to this day, it's just hard for me too, because, I got a little shy side, even though I'm, very extroverted.
Yeah.
But, when I hear those things, man, it means a lot. So I appreciate it.
No problem, brother.
That's what's up.
Theo,
So
did
we
you want to
really
go?
want to take advantage of this opportunity to chop it up with you.
Yeah.
So I know Hollis has prepared some questions, but if anyone in the chat wants to chime in a question, give some love, give some comments to Brother David, please hop in the chat with any questions, any comments you want to do as we hear from this distinguished brother.
And Theo, did you want to go through the comments, brother, that we've already gotten? Keep continuing the theme of showing some love for this brother.
Okay, we can do that. So I'll read a couple, and then we'll let David chop it up for a bit, and then I'll come back.
Okay.
And so one of the things in which we try to do is we like the spontaneous interaction from the audience, but sometimes some of you may be on here, you're watching the live stream, but you're also cooking in the kitchen, doing different things. We understand that. And so one of the things we wanted to do to make sure we had enough love to show to each of our guests, we just contacted people we know are in relationship with them, friends, families, to see if anybody wanted to chime in ahead of time. So this first comment is from a brother from Michigan City, Kenny Mack. Hollis, you know him well. I know him well. He's one of our younger brothers.
The legendary Mack family. We got to have all the Macks on.
Exactly.
We got to have all the Macks on.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. Return to Macks, So you got Kenny Mack, and so he wanted to shout David out, and so I'm just going to read what he says. He says, a lot of things can be said about Brother D. He has always been very cool, smooth, funny, and charismatic brother. When we were all coming up, he was definitely a trendsetter and a cavalier for the last class of 1995, Elson/Rogers. At our reunion back in 2015, he was the MC, and he entertained, did comedy, did a great job hosting and making everyone feel welcome. Glad that he came through. One old story I can remember when we were young and in high school was one night after a basketball game. I was riding around with my teammate Snoop, and he went and picked up Dave, and we rode all throughout the city, east side, west side, Southgate, going from house to house, kicking it.
Yep.
We finally ended up in Lakeland, and somebody was throwing a house party that night, and it was jam-packed crazy. Yep. As soon as we walked in the party, about 4 chicks swarmed all over David, and they were screaming his name. Me and Snoop was like, Don, can we get some love too? Red Devil love? That was definitely one of the more memorable nights from our childhood years. We had a blast that night. One love, Brother D.
What's up, man, Mac? Thank you, brother. Thank you. And I forgot about that night up until now, brother. I remember that vividly. I don't know about the swarming part. Y'all had the height, man. We all know the tall brothers get all the love. So hence Hollis and Theo.
And Brother David, I thought there was a great segue when brother, Kenny Mack was talking about how you came through, you was the MC, you was entertaining. Yeah. And that's not just something you did that night. I mean, word on the street is that you big in the game. So that's a good segue to maybe talking about some of your business endeavors. We're going to definitely talk about family, faith, things of that nature. But since he mentioned that MC, getting the crowd hype, entertainment, tell us more about where that passion came from, what you're doing now, how you're using that in your platform.
Great segue, Thee. Perfect.
Yeah, awesome segue, Thee. So, brothers, that's what I do full time. I am a full-time master of ceremonies, and literally just finished up an event in Los Angeles last night. And I go out there often. That's where my business is still located in LA. And man, it really happened organically, brothers. I would say, growing up in the Greer household, my mother and father, they really fostered those talents, my desires to be a performer. A lot of people in Michigan City remember me as a break dancer back in the day. Oh, yeah. So, from Michael Jackson moves to Turbo and Ozone to getting mistaken for the little kid with the long hair and breaking. It was either him or the Family Matters kid. But no, man, that's really where it started, brothers. It's doing it at home, doing what I love to do. And, we grew up in that area where that era where, like you walk downtown Michigan City, and you got people out there breaking on the cardboard and, at the Martin Luther King Center. And so coming up in that era, I just felt it was such a special time, for us to, showcase those skills. And so really my mother and father championed me to do that. When I moved out to LA in 1998, I actually met a brother from South Bend. And I met this guy on set because I was getting into background work, acting work, background work. And he told me, he was like, yeah, man, I dance at bar mitzvahs. And I'm like, okay, I don't know much about bar mitzvahs. Coming up in Michigan City, we didn't have a lot of Jewish folks that I knew of. We may have, but, I didn't know many. So I'm like, all right, well, look, put me on. Like, I like to dance. That's what I grew up doing. Brother invited me to my first bar mitzvah, y'all. And literally from the first party I did, I haven't stopped. I literally have not taken any breaks. It became a passion. I worked my way up in the company being a dancer. And when I say a dancer, like an interactive dancer, dancing with the crowd, helping getting the party motivated, keeping it motivated, helping to foster a good time on the dance floor. And from there, the company I was working with, they started going out of business, and God opened up a door for me to start my own business. And now I can't go to a family reunion, any kind of function without somebody handing me the microphone. So, and I still do it to this day, and the business is thriving. We have about 30 independent contractors that work under my umbrella, D&G Entertainment. And, I've been doing it for about 26 years. So,
wow.
About 26 years, brothers. And I love it. I love it. Yep. I love it. It literally, seeing where God took me from a child to now, you could really just see how his hand was on the entire thing. And, from my passion as a kid to now still doing what I love to do. So it's a blessing. Yeah.
When you say you have about 30 contractors,
Uh-huh.
break it down for the people.
Yeah.
Someone wants to bring you in. They get your name, your number from somewhere. What exactly do you offer? What do you do? And what does an event look like in terms of the nuts and bolts, the different moving parts?
So, man, for all of my entrepreneurs, you guys know this. It's a labor of love. It's a lot of work. It's a labor of love. I don't have an assistant outside of my wife helping me here and there, but we got a 3-year-old, so that keeps her very busy, plus her work. But as owner and operator, I'm in charge of hiring all the talent, so I have independent contractors. They're not, employees for the company, but they subcontract. So, and with that, all of my business is word of mouth. So I thank God for that. I do no advertisement, and we're booked literally right now. I'm booking parties into 2027. So into 2027, brothers, probably about 30-40% booked for next year. And, and it's literally all 100% word of mouth. So when the clients call me, normally they'll get my number from a friend, a family member, or they have seen me and my team at an event. For instance, last night, we had 4 parties out last night. So if I wasn't personally there, then I still have other teams that are representing the D&G brand every Saturday night. And from there, they'll give us a shout, hey, David, we saw you, or we saw so-and-so and so-and-so that works for your company. We want to book you guys. That's where I'm, then I'd send out the email, negotiate pricing, whatever the case, over the phone. Once we come to an agreement, send out the contract, book that date, and we off and rolling. And like I say, some dates are a year in advance, 2 years in advance. And, it's a blessing. I've had some people, that work under the D&G umbrella say, hey, man, you helped me buy my first house. And I give God all the glory. You helped me, help buy my wife a car. Just things like that, or helping just basic things, paying my rent. And, just for people to say, man, D&G has been a blessing. And, but again, I can't take the credit because I tell them, you guys are just as much of a blessing to me as well. So
I want to ask you. Let me ask you this. So obviously, I mean, you're successful, and I always tell people, especially younger people, that if you're working a job that you're passionate about and that you love, you really win. And so you're winning because this is a labor of love for you.
Amen.
Have you started using or doing like your D&G work in Atlanta as well, or is it strictly in LA?
So because of the frequency of the bookings in LA, which, we're happy about, I'll get calls for Atlanta, but I'm normally always booked there. But we have started breaking into Nashville. I have a lot of clients that have moved from LA to Nashville. So actually I'm doing a party in Nashville in a couple weeks. And so that's picking up steam. Nashville, I'll do, matter of fact, we had a couple parties in Seattle, and I'm going to do a quick name drop, but I have a team that will be in Seattle in a couple weeks. They're doing the party for the daughter of the head coach. What is it? Seattle, University of Seattle, or the what is it? The Ducks? The
Oregon.
Oregon. No, not Oregon. What is Seattle?
I don't know what Seattle is.
Washington, University of Washington.
Okay.
The Huskies.
Huskies.
Okay.
So the Huskies head coach. Yep. We're my company is actually doing his daughter's bat mitzvah in 2 weeks. Yep.
That's awesome.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
And so
I
was just going to say, I'm sorry. I think it may be a slight delay. I wanted to allow you, as you talk about name dropping a little bit with that gentleman, can you share with the audience some of the things that you've done before D&G on the acting side? I mentioned it in your intro, on the commercial side, on the, can you talk a little bit about that? Some of the shows and things that we tend to see it every now and then. We'll see a loose clip on Facebook and we're like, dang, David was doing all that, so if you want to share, this would be a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Man, brothers, I did a lot of extra work when I first got out to LA, was on a ton of shows. And then, that led me into getting some speaking roles, but everything from Sister to Malcolm and Eddie, to Jamie Foxx show, to Dr. Dolittle, the movie, Charmed, the TV show.
Yeah.
What's the other one?
What was the one about City Kids or Street
Guys?
City Guys.
City Guys. I had a couple of speaking roles on City Guys. Oh man, I booked 2 national commercials, one for Colgate, one for Crest, one for Colgate, and then I did a Sprint commercial as well. Booked a Toyota commercial that never aired, but those 3 they aired, thank God. Yeah. And man, I mean, y'all, it's a lot of TV, there was a show called Link that I was on. I was a regular on there. That was a Showtime show with Vivica Fox. Not Vivica Fox, but Pam Greer. And so that show, I did a lot of stand-in work as well. That's where, like you're kind of like when they do the lighting before the scene, you stand in for the person. So one person, he's a iconic actor, Clarence Williams III.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I know him as Prince's daddy.
Right. He sure was. Yeah.
That's how I know him.
He always plays that character that's kind of off.
Yeah, little abusive. He played that role real good. I'm gonna do some research at the background.
He was in Tales from the Hood too.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Ooh, yeah, he was like
funeral director, I think, or something, right?
Right. Yep. He was a funeral director.
Yeah.
Man, I stood in for him. Glenn Thurman. And it's funny. I got a funny story about Glenn Thurman. He cool brother. But he came to me one day. He said, "Hey, brother, he said, David, I like you, man. You're a genuine cat. I like you a lot." I said, "Man, I appreciate it." He said, "But I may have to give me another stand." And he said, "You're a little light skinned, Glenn, a darker brother." And they
Taylor, Dr. Moore.
I said, "Man, I'm beige, man. Give me a little bit of credit." But
man, you're just a light-skinned American, man. It's all
it.
good, you know.
Right. But the casting company, they think all brothers. We all So, but he was real cool about it.
That's cool, brother. That's cool, man. And we appreciate you sharing. And now I think the audience. A lot of times in the past, in our first iteration of the show, Theo and I would have a lot of like professional ball players on, the people that were, tremendous athletes, and but we're shifting and we're really just highlighting. You are going to be a big actor or big shoes to fill, obviously, but we wanted to, just show people all the wonderful things you've done. You're the brother that I see, and I'm like, man, I wish I would have spent more time with this brother. Like it's just see how you moving and all of that. I mean, obviously you're a few years younger than me and all of that, but it's just amazing, man. And so, really, really just happy for you. If I can ask you another question, what do you think your top 2 or 3 accomplishments that you're the most proud of? Like all the shows that you've done, all the entertainers that you've met, like you just mentioned, the bar mitzvah that's coming up. What are the 2 or 3 things that in these 20-something years that you're most proud of as far as an accomplishment?
Oh man, from the professional side of things, being a husband and a dad, number one. From a professional standpoint, man, it's funny. I got a call. This was about 5 years ago, out the blue, and still to this day, I don't know how they got my number, y'all. But it was a lady asking if I was available for a date. I told her yes, and she said for her client, she said Tracy Edmonds. I'm like, oh
wow,
yeah. So Tracy Edmonds used to be married to Babyface, as we know, and I'm like, heck yeah, I'm available. Let's run this, and end up booking the party, y'all. Got to the house, and that's when she was with Deion Sanders. And so I knock at the door, and Babyface opens the door. And I was so shook, I called him. I introduced myself as Kenny. His name is Kenny. I said, I'm Kenny. And we just both laughed. And then, and then, we connected on the Indiana, tip, because he's from Indianapolis. We're from Michigan City. So that was a huge accomplishment. I most recently did a party, a bat mitzvah last year. And I actually got to be on a Zoom call with Robert Downey Jr. and meet him in person at the bar mitzvah.
Talk about that.
Iron Man,
Iron Man, what?
Iron Man, worth what, 300 million, something like that.
Yeah.
When I say y'all, one of the nicest guys you ever meet in your life. Funny, outgoing. Literally, y'all, when he walked into the party, and super professional. And that's a whole nother, testament of why he's so successful. Super professional. Got there early. Didn't walk in like a diva, you know what I mean? Whatever the male version is. But he walked in early, and because he's a singer, so a lot of people don't know he actually has an album. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he can sing. And he rehearsed with his backup dancers and singers before the party started. But soon as he walked in, he saw me over there. He said, MC David. I'm like,
oh, that's dope.
Robert Downey Jr. And knew my name off the top, you know what I mean, from our Zoom call a few days before. And just so that right there it stands out.
David, that's kind of a big deal to have Iron Man calling your name. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
That's kind of a big deal.
That was a trip. Yeah, that was and if I can, guys, I'll share another quick story. Man, and just I'll even say, well, I got so many stories, y'all. But one, I was doing a bat mitzvah, and it was a ritzy one. I think it was at the Beverly Hills Hotel. This was about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And I'm out there leading the crowd in a dance as an MC. I'm interactive. So I'm on the microphone, leading them in a dance. This one kid next to me was following my every move. So when the song was over, I'm high-fiving the kids. this lady comes over. She says, "Do you know who that was right next to you?" I said, "No." And so, mind you, I'm leading them in Thriller, Michael Jackson Thriller. I said, "No, I don't know." She says, "Well, that was Blanket, Michael Jackson's son."
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So he was leading, he was following me to every move to his father's song.
Wow.
Oh, that was dope.
And that was a trip. That was a trip.
So how did she expect you to recognize him when he had a blanket on his head all the time?
Exactly. Like blanket.
But yeah, I saw his hand. I saw his hand. That's him.
Yeah, you're supposed to identify the silhouette in the way it looks in the sheet or whatever, the blanket, you know.
How am I supposed to know that?
Yeah. Wow, brother,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that is amazing. And
that was something.
Brother, I remember when we all met up, you were telling us about, you just have tons and tons of stories. I hope that the people that are watching and listening and the people that will watch and listen are enjoying the stories. It just shows you that you can come from a small town and have big dreams,
That's right.
And we definitely want to highlight it. And speaking of that, I know something that's also important to you is giving back.
That's
and I know you had mentioned to me and to Theo and I, as far as different initiatives that are important to you. I know you definitely wanted to shout out, Brother Dion in Michigan City and different initiatives. Did you want to speak to any particular initiatives or causes that are near and dear to your heart?
Absolutely. And I appreciate that, Hollis. I feel like it starts from the grassroots, so I'm all about kingdom, and reflecting the kingdom in my everyday life. And that's what I really purpose to do. We're not perfect, but we do the best we can on a daily basis. So even here in my neighborhood, when I see the kids outside, just talking to them, feeding them positivity and love and big up in them. And like I had a group of kids that rode by my house. It was 3 of them live in the neighborhood. And I'm in a predominantly Black neighborhood here in Atlanta. And they stopped, young brothers, and they said, "Mr. David." So they all know my name. "Mr. David, can you help us with our handlebars?" And I'm out there putting a little accessory on my Jeep. We like our toys, right? And they saw me with the tools, and they stopped, y'all. And literally I think it was 4 of them. I helped tighten their handlebars, made sure they were good, adjusting them for them. And so that meant a lot to me. And they thank you, Mr. David. Thank you, Mr. David. But it meant almost, I would say, just as much to me to be able to give back like that. I'll see them. I'll get these bar mitzvah sweatshirts, from the parties I do, and I'll give them to the kids in the neighborhood. There's a gentleman, I don't know if he's homeless, my buddy, that lives, I don't know, but I see him all the time. He pushes a cart in the neighborhood. But, one day he was walking down the street with a bar mitzvah sweatshirt on. That said, wow. Mitzvah.
Yeah. Right. That's dope.
But from a even outside of my neighborhood, I'm really involved with my motorcycle club. So I'm in an international club, Gentleman Motorcycle Club, founded in Detroit, 1965. So we brought a chapter to Michigan City. So right now, currently, we actually are gearing up for launching what is called Street Smart. And that's where we're going to, as the motorcycle club, we're going to start giving back to the community. We're going to bring in young men and women from the neighborhood, from the inner city community, communities in Michigan City, neighborhoods in Michigan City, to help teach them life skills, practical skills as far as like building homes, carpentry, things of that nature, because we got some really talented brothers in the Michigan City chapter. Wesley Scully being one of them.
Oh, Scully, okay.
Yeah. Ian Osborne, Vic Walker.
Okay.
All right.
Yep. Vic, my cousin, Anthony Smith. So, we're all just galvanizing our talents and giving back in that way,
That's awesome.
And we're doing it, through a nonprofit. And we got some other stuff coming up too, y'all, that it's going to impact you. It's forthcoming, but it's going to be really big for the city as well, even when it comes to housing, affordable housing for Michigan City.
Wow. I definitely want to talk to you about that.
Okay.
And we're down. We got 11 minutes. I know Nicole had a question. Thee, you want me to read it?
Well, before we get to that question, I just want to read a couple more of these comments.
Go ahead.
Since they sent these in.
Okay.
And then, Dave, you can get to that question that's on the screen.
So we're going to throw some more flowers at you, Dave.
Because that was one of the big things, we wanted to give people flowers while they were still alive. And so this one comes from one of your sisters, one of your super homegirls from MC Ella Hollis.
LL. What's up, LL?
And it says, David is like a brother to me. I've known him for quite a long time, since he was breakdancing at a young age from 5 to 10 years old. We always have good conversations.
Always.
Our most meaningful conversations are about God, religion, and how we should give back to people. So that's a testament to what you were just talking about. So that's that consistency. It says David is always helping people. Some of my more gratitude-filled conversations with David are helping the youth. David used to be a youth pastor in California.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think many people knew this, but he was always had a passion about helping young people.
Yeah.
His motivation to educate them, to put them on the right path, to point them in the right direction has been admirable. I've seen him pull kids off the street and teach them about business and cutting grass to make money, as well as to talk to them about religion and God. He truly has a gift with helping and assisting the youth, as he does with his business. God has really blessed David throughout his life, and I wouldn't be surprised if we would be calling him Pastor or Minister David later, because he truly has a gift from God, and he has helped thousands of kids across the country. Carry on and do good things, David. Love you, bro.
Oh, wow.
I want to read one more that's in that same vein, just to show that this isn't just some random stuff, that there is a consistency about who people say you are. And this is from your homie Sean Drake.
Brother Drake. What up, Drake?
And it says, there's so much I can say about Brother David Greer. For over 45 years, we've been bonded over everything from breakdancing to breaking records.
That's right.
We call David MC in our circle of gentlemen for a few different reasons. He has been a professional master ceremonies MC, and he represents his hometown, Michigan City MC, to the fullest everywhere he goes.
That's right.
We are proud of the successes he has garnered in entrepreneurship, carrying on for his mother and family, and building a legacy with a queen and their prince, little Dave. We have had many adventures together over the years, and with God's blessings, we will celebrate each other's lives. In between all the laughter from cracking jokes to the heart-to-heart and deep discussions of life's trials, the pursuit of happiness while honoring the Holy Father, David Greer has always been consistent and a true friend to all he is connected to. It's forever with my guy, David Greer. One love from your brother, Sean Drake.
Wow. Brothers, I'm about to shed a tear in here.
Oh, we trying. You gonna cry in the car, as they say on the movie.
Well, you gonna cry in the car.
You gonna cry in the car.
Man, y'all, I appreciate that from the heart. I appreciate that. Ella, Drake, Mac. Did I miss it? Did I leave anybody out?
We'll have one more that we'll close the show off with.
Okay. Anybody who, even if it's not mentioned here, I appreciate that from the heart, y'all. That means a lot to me. That means a lot.
So, Dave, if you could just answer this question from a lovely guest, beautiful guest who we have, happens to be my wife.
That's right.
And she wants to know, how do you stay humble, and what advice would you give to fellow entrepreneurs in the generation next?
That's a great question, sis. That's a great question. And I think a lot of it ties back into the testimony, the heartfelt things that, my friends just said and that you guys just shared, is really being transparent. I believe that transparency actually also helps you stay humble, as well. Like from Ella to Drake to, my boy Brad to Petey, Rob Sams, they all know my story, and I know their story. And there's times where I'll jump on the phone with them when I'm going through some of the toughest times. And, we've had those conversations. Hollis, they're forthcoming, and, we've already started bonding like that, to where, man, just putting it all on the table and keeping that humility, you know what I mean? Them reminding me that, I'm human. We're human, you know what I mean? And God has his hand on us. And that right there, and really keeping the faith, y'all, that's helped me stay the course and, optimistic about the future and knowing that God's hand is on my life. So, that right there, I live by, Matthew 6:33, you know what I mean? Seeking first the kingdom and everything else will be added unto you. So that right there, if there was a foundational scripture for my life, it's that scripture right there. Seeking the kingdom first, knowing that it's all his anyway. I'm just a vessel. We're just vessels. And, if my testimony can lead people to Christ and brighten up their day, put a smile on their face, from the lady at the cash register to my close and personal friends, man, I'm happy and I'm doing the will of the Father. So, the advice I would give to future generations, and kids now that are coming up, work hard. When God placed Adam on this earth, he gave him a job. Before he blessed him with a wife, he gave him a job. Stewardship, and and just being good stewards over what he's blessed us with. If it's a talent in athletics, if it's a brilliant mind, if it's both, if it's finances, be a good steward. Give back. Jesus was he washed the disciples' feet, feet. I said feet. God darn it.
That's the MC education.
That's MC, right?
MC education in its finest, baby. It's all good.
Right.
We all subject to it.
Pig feet. We're going to be real, right? We're going to have fun.
We're going to be real. That's what we're
right.
going to do. Bro.
But, really just, man, having a heart of a servant, working hard, being diligent, and really pursuing excellence. And that's something for me that's big, for my events, going above and beyond, because, when you have a good reputation, whether it's, in your community and the workplace and both, people will trust you with more tasks, and,
Absolutely.
To whom much is given, much is required.
Absolutely.
So, awesome. Amen. Yeah.
Awesome. Theo, do me a favor. I'm going to kind of change up the order a little bit because we're getting tight on time, if you don't mind, Theo. I know we're going to end with that last flower for Brother Greer. But
yeah, because I have one to read, and then one person sent in a video.
Okay, I want you, if you don't mind, can you throw back up Chris's comment, Chris McGregor's? I just want to. So thank you, Chris, for joining.
What's up, Chris?
We're gonna probably get you on as well. Chris is doing some amazing things in regards to football and coaching and all of that. So we definitely want that. But if you all like this show and y'all like our flow, please, be willing to not only support us, but also interact with us, give us different ideas, suggest different people, and please respond to me when I hit you up in your messenger, because we may want you as a guest or to help some flowers for another guest. And so speaking of guests, I just want to make sure that y'all hear this. The fire doesn't stop here today. We got some more heat coming. Our next guest, May 18th. And I want y'all to check out the diversity of people we got coming on, right? So May 18th, we have a former MC resident that's a former prosecutor, and she's been a 20-year litigator and currently is the deputy director of litigation for a particular agency. So in essence, spent her pretty much her whole career in law, a woman of God, and we're going to get an opportunity. She even ran for judge at one point. We're going to get an opportunity to give her flowers. Many of y'all know her as Stephanie Sanders, but her name now, due to marriage, is Stephanie Bibbs. But Stephanie Sanders will be our guest that we're going to be loving on, that we're going to be giving flowers to on May 18th. And after that, I got one more for y'all. We don't have our date yet, but our boy Jason Ashley, Coach Ashley, he's going to be next up, and we're going to love on that brother. That's like one of my little brothers from back in the day. So we're going to work it out. I don't know if we're going to have him and Loke on together. I don't know if we just going to have Jay on, but we're going to definitely throw him some love, and we're going to work on a date. So y'all, more coming. More coming.
That's some heat, too. That's some heat. That's some heat.
That's some heat, bro.
That's some heat.
Yeah, that's some heat, y'all. So go ahead, P.
Well, this is a great segue. Brother Michael McDonald just said, great show, fellas.
What up, Mike?
And Brother Mike was one of the individuals who also wrote something ahead of time for David. I'm going to read that.
My brother Mike.
It says, hey, Hollis, got a text about giving flowers to Dave. Submitting my story. David has been family since sophomore year in high school.
That's right.
There are many stories over the past 30 years. After high school, we went to I-State together.
Yep.
Sophomore year, we were roommates in the campus apartments. We started the year off having parties. That's a reoccurring theme with our roommates. Inviting people in and out. It was the place to be. After a few months, they started getting old. David had the idea to start having prayer meetings in our apartment. I mean, so he went from saying, no, this party thing is old. That's prayer.
Let's party for Jesus.
Party for Jesus.
And it says that it took off very quickly, turned into a mini revival.
It was major.
I knew then he had a calling on his life in his Ricky Smiley voice. And it says, I'm going to wrap things up, taking credit for pointing out his wife and telling him he needed to make the move. He did, Mike. And the rest is history.
Yep, that was Mike. Mike actually introduced me to, a roundabout way introduced me to Carmen. So he's how I got to know my wife. Yep.
Wow.
Through someone he knew. And it was weird because, it was all God. I won't even say weird. My wife is Cape Verdean, as we know. And I said 15 years prior, I'm going to marry a Cape Verdean woman. I just said it to one of my boys. Just said it, I'd known some Cape Verdeans in California.
Wow.
I said, I'm marry a Cape Verdean woman. And out the blue one day, Mike hit me up and said, yo, I got a friend in Atlanta, and I've never met her cousin, but I feel like her cousin would be a good match for you.
Wow.
And my wife is Cape Verdean. And yeah, man. And she made me work. So like, I appreciate you, bro.
Wow. That sounds like some Theo Nicole type stuff. We're gonna have to hit another moment.
Right.
Wow.
You got to share that testimony one day, brother. That's powerful.
Yeah, whenever we do a show and I'll be highlighted, I'll definitely share that.
Yeah. Well, we're getting close to the end, Thee. I wanted to, if I could, real quick, just want to shout out. I know you got the video still, Thee, but I want to just make sure we shout out Brad Rose for jumping on. He shouted out, gave you some love, Dave. I don't know if you've seen all the chats. Steve and Lawhorn. I don't know if I know this brother, but he got a lot of love for you. Thank you for joining the show. I shouted out Chris, Mike, Vaughn, Jason. I hope I'm not missing anyone. I'm just looking through the chat. I still got to ask Ella about this Nicole Gooden stuff. I just know Ella Hollis, but she's on here. Monique Young, thank you for joining. Old high school friend.
Hey, Monique.
And so, yeah, go ahead, Thee. I just want to shout them out. Thank y'all for supporting.
Oh, yeah. And I want to reiterate that. Thank you for supporting. The show is only as valuable as you all. And so we don't take it for granted that you took time out on a Sunday night to show us some love and to show some love to our brother David. And so we do have one more shout out. This person wanted to send in the video. And so we're just going to, and you had mentioned his name earlier, so it just kind of just flows together.
Greetings, Theo. Greetings, Hollis. I hope you brothers are doing well. I just wanted to reach out and.
I'm about to say, yeah.
There we go.
Brother Sam's.
Greetings, Theo. Greetings, Hollis. I hope you brothers are doing well. I just wanted to reach out and send this short video about a good friend of mine that will be featured on your podcast tonight. He goes by the name of David Greer. We've been friends as far as I can remember. Not one disagreement. We've been to concerts together, just hung out in general. You know, he's always been a sharp brother. Even when I was a freshman, I was like, who is that dude? He always had the freshest clothes, but it's like, as time went on, I caught up with his swag, So it's like, but all around, man, he's just been a good friend of mine. My father and his father were friends back in the day. They played softball together. And whenever Dave would call me during high school and we go out, man, we just have like the best time. It's like, he's just an all around party guy, and it was like, it was just always fun. There wasn't any extra involved. It was just always a good time. Even as we became adults, I travel with work, so I get to California. And if I could call anybody out of all my friends, it's like, Dave was that dude who was like, hey, Brother Rob, I'll come get you, man. No matter how I got to get there, I'll get you. And it's still like that to this day, and now he's a father. He's a husband, and he's doing big things. I've always looked up to him just as far as the entertainment world. It's like, being on TV and just doing things where I'm like, wow, that's my guy, so it's like, and he's never been an arrogant brother, so that's one thing I like about Dave as well. I could call him, he calls me, we always talk, and it's like, it's never like a 5 or 10 minute conversation. And if it is, he'll hit me back and I look at my phone. I'm like, man, I got to go, bro. We've been on the phone like an hour or two, but that's genuine friendship. And nowadays it's hard to find genuine friendship. But I'm not going to hold y'all, man. I just wanted to send in my little piece on my good friend Dave. Like I said, I love you, bro. Continue what you're doing. Much success. And you've always been like an inspiration to me. I look up to you, bro. So, like I said, I'm sure the podcast will go great tonight. And Theo and Hollis, you brothers take care, man. Blessings.
Awesome. Wow. That's my guy, Sims, man. That's man. Sims, you great with words, brother. Sims got a future in radio, y'all.
I thought it was about to be the quiet storm.
Right. One of the most genuine brothers I know, man. Great voice too, man. I love Sims. Wow. Shout out
Lil Gordy. I still call him Lil Gordy, my bad, but he grown man now. But he said Dave never came to Providence and Cool Spring to catch that breaking battle. It have broke you off with the triple bye Birdie.
hey, Jesus, you can get we can still get it in, brother. You get that work, man.
That's up, man.
Got the cardboard. My wife keep all the boxes, so I just got to break it down and tape them down to the ground. No,
that's awesome. Well, listen, y'all, we at the end. David, I hope you felt the love, brother, not just from me and Thee, but from so many people shouting you out, people taking time to write on your behalf, videos, brother. I hope this fills your cup as you go into the week and just, continue to impact lives. Hope this gives you a little extra energy to continue to do so. Theo, what you got left for the folks, man? We already 7 minutes over.
Yes, we just want to thank you all for tuning in. It was our pleasure kicking it with Brother David. We go way back to Canada, one of my fellow Canadians.
Yep.
So thank you, David, for coming through. Thank you for all you who tuned in. As Hollis said, May 18th with Stephanie Bibbs. It's going to be a great show. And so, as Hollis says, if he reaches out to you to get stories and comments and flowers, please hit us back. Right. So without further ado, thank y'all for tuning in. God bless. Have a great night. It's been Hollis, Theo, and Brother David on We Call Next.
Thank you, brothers. Thank you.